Yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello, hello. We're back at it again. So, hello, students. We are again recording another lecture discussion. So, is it just me or you also miss face-to-face classes? No, nakakamiss din class, no? Ibang-iba pa rin ang face-to-face meetings. Dito kasi class sa recorded lectures, recorded videos, medyo may inhibitions ako, no? I am very conscious with the things that I will say because um, a single error mahirap siyang i-correct, 'no? Unlike kapag face to face, kapag may nabanggit akong mali, then makikita ko agad sa reaction ninyo na there is something wrong with the information that I just gave. So, malalaman ko agad na, mali yun. So, mako-correct ko siya agad. Unlike here, no? So, hindi rin ako makapag-joke. So, very boring, no? So, I'm starting to miss face-to-face discussions. Ayan, medyo nami-miss ko na rin yung iba sa inyo. Just just kidding. I miss all of you, no, all of my um students. Yan. I miss the interaction, the participation, seeing all of you, 'di ba? So, 'di bale konting tiis na lang and we'll see each other again in the flesh. Ayan. So, for now, let's tiis-tiis muna na magtiis muna tayo sa online. Okay, so what are we going to do next after specimen accessioning? So, after we have recorded sa ating mga logbooks yung mga specimen na receive natin, na-check natin yung information, nag-match naman yung nasa request form and yung nasa label ng container ng sample natin. Next thing to do is to just store that. Yung iiwan muna natin siya sa tabi, no? Yung ating container na may lamang organ and immersed in a fixative. And then, we will just let the pathologist do the next step. And that is cutting of a specimen or grossing or gross analysis of the tissues. Okay. Okay, so why is gross analysis or also known as grossing important? Again, class, this step or this procedure is done by the pathologist. Ayan, so hindi medical technologists ang gumagawa nito, hindi rin interns, no? The pathologist, siya yung gumagawa ng grossing and even the cutting of the organ or the tissue. Iba din class yung pag sinabi kong cutting of the tissue or organ in this topic, iba yun sa microtomy ha. Iba yun sa cutting of tissue sections, yung pag-produce natin ng tissue ribbons. Iba to, no? Dito class, yung mismong organ yung ikakat, hindi yung solidified blocks natin, tissue blocks natin. So, wag malilito ha. So, gross analysis of tissue or gross examination of specimens is one of the most important processes in which the pathologist arrives at a diagnosis. So, importante ito, class, no, na bago i-cut yung tissues, kailangan tignan muna mabuti. Susuriin munang mabuti ng pathologist yung organ, yung tissue. Um, This is important because just by merely looking at it, just by merely examining its gross features or morphology, nagkakaroon na class ng idea si doctor or si pathologist kung ano kaya yung abnormality or disease nung ating pasyente dun sa mismong organ na yon. So, it gives the pathologist information and crucial information, no, important information of or about uh, what is wrong doon sa tissue na yon. So, number one, the pathologist examines the gross morphology of the tissue. Ano-ano yung mga kailangang tignan ni pathologist? The size. Yan. So, the dimension of the tissue or organ are usually taken and rounded to the nearest 1 centimeter. So, pag tinitignan natin yung size, ide-describe niya, nag-atrophy ba? Lumiit ba yung organ? Is it larger than its normal size? Ganon. Nag-hypertrophy ba? Mga ganyan. So, enlarged ba yung lymph node? Or enlarged ba yung heart? Or maliit ba yung tissue? Mga ganon, no? And aside from that, the color and the consistency of the specimen must also be reported. So, dito pa lang makikita na natin, is the liver jaundiced? Color yellowish ba yung tissue? Yung sclera ng eyeballs? Ganyan, no? So, nagkakaroon na ng idea si patho kung ano yung mali dun sa tissue or organ na yon. Aside from size and color, the pathologist also examines the weight. When it comes to the weight of specifically intact specimens, it is taken and rounded to the nearest 0.1 gram naman. And here, titignan, bumigat ba or masyado bang magaan, mga ganyan. So, next, abnormal features. Meron bang fats? Yan. So, is the tissue fatty? So, marami bang, is it covered with adipose tissue? Mga ganyan, no? So, you're going to look into the abnormalities dun sa organ na yon. Or baka merong tumor, ano pa ba? Meron bang content or inclusion na hindi dapat nandun? Mga ganyan. And even the number of submitted specimens. Next, instruments used in grossing. Pag nag-gross tayo, class, it is important that we have different cutting tools or meron tayong standard dissecting kits or sets. So, ano-ano yung mga instruments na ginagamit? Meron tayong cutting board, so yung color blue here. What else? Blades and scalpels. So, parang mga ganito class, no? Forceps. Ayan. Dissecting scissors. Ganyan. Depende. May maliit, may malaki. Depende kung malaki yung organ or maliit lang naman. Yan. Ruler. Kasi kailangan nga nating i-measure yung size, no? Yung dimension, the length and width of that organ. So we need to use measuring tools as well. And even so, ito class, no? This is particularly utilized for bones, mga yan, teeth, mga ganyan, and etc. And these are your cassettes, your tissue cassettes. Excuse me. Ayan. So, it is very important, class, that these cutting tools must always be kept clean before and after use. This is to avoid carrying a tissue over to another case. So, we need to avoid contamination. So, kailangan malinis yan before and after, no? What else? Ano pang kailangan nating malaman? Of course, these blades, these scalpels, no? Especially kapag single use yung mga yan. So, used blades and scalpels should always be disposed saan? Of course, sa sharps container natin. Remember class, yung reading assignment nyo, yung risk management in the histopath lab. So, we talked about hazards, di ba? So, balikan natin yon, no? Sharp is a hazard. One type of hazard, di ba? So, it needs to be disposed sa proper containers natin. Okay, so number two, the pathologist chooses and cuts the portion of the specimen to be examined. So, habang ginogross yan ng pathologist, yung tissues natin, yung organs natin, namimili na rin siya class, no? Nakikita niya na kasi kung saan kayang area yung may suspected disease process. So, nakakapili na siya kung saan siya magkakat, ano yung pipiliin niyang portion ng specimen na yon na i-examine under the microscope. So, after adequately examining them for completeness and describing their gross features, specimens are then dissected thoroughly. Small specimens class, small specimens are usually cut around 2 to several millimeters thickness. 2 plus mm. Yan. How about for large specimens? Large specimens naman, they are cut around 1.0 centimeter thick sections. Yan. So, this is actually what we call bread loafing. Kasi 'di ba, pansin nyo yung bread loaves natin, yung tasty bread, 'di ba? That is usually cut around 1 centimeter yung thickness ng bawat loaf, 'di ba? Ng bawat bread. So, ganun din in the case of large specimens. So, this is to ensure that the pathologic areas are will be correctly identified. Yeah. So these thickness. So for small, 2 millimeter and up. Pag large, 1 centimeter. How about for hollow structures, such as your bowel specimens and the uterus? Yan, mga hollow structures yung mga yan. Mga intestines, mga bowel structures, uterus, mga ganyan. So these structures class are opened as part of the initial examination. They are opened. For specimen with tumors naman, the size of the tumor must be identified. What else? The location of that tumor and even the presence of lymph nodes. Yan yung mga kailangang i-note. Yan. And then after that, after cutting, cut portions of the tissue is then placed inside the cassettes. Ito yung mga cassettes natin, class, no? Ayan. So, after cutting, ilalagay na ngayon yung mga nakat na tissues dito sa loob ng cassette. Class, the size or the dimension of a standard tissue cassette is 3.0 by 2.5 by 0.4 centimeter. So please take note of the size of a standard tissue cassette. And here sa picture sa ating right, meron tayong biopsy wrap or biopsy bag. Ito class, usually ginagamit ito for wrapping minute tissue fragments. Meron kasi class mga tissues na maliliit, no? Kasing liit ng mga buhangin, parang gano'n. So, siyempre itong cassette kasi may mga butas 'yan 'no, yang mga line-line na 'yan, butas 'yan. So, that is to facilitate 'no, yung pagpasok ng solution. Kasi nga itong mga cassettes na ito containing the tissues, they will be immersed sa different solutions later on. Fixative, dehydrating agents such as alcohol, clearing agents, xylene, mga gano'n. So, kailangan may holes talaga yung mga cassettes na 'yan. Eh, kaso nga kapag may mga maliliit tayo at masyado na mga specimens, ang tawag namin diyan class biopsy or biopsies. Kaya nga siya tinawag na biopsy wrap or biopsy bag. Kapag mga masyadong maliliit na ganito, may possibility na makalabas sila, no? Dito sa butas ng mga cassette. So, we need to wrap them using biopsy wraps or biopsy bags to prevent them from getting lost during processing. And then, after that, we need to put labels inside and outside the cassette. So, kailangan meron tayong at least two identification, no? So, saan natin ilalagay? Dito, yung outside, dito sa part na ito ng cassette, we will use a pencil class, no? No, hindi yan mabubura kahit na mai-immerse yan in different solutions later on, no? It is not advisable to use markers or pens because they will dissolve upon processing. So, okay na ang pencil class, no? Hindi yan mabubura. And aside from writing here, outside the cassette, minsan, sinusulat din natin yung label sa ating mga filter papers, no? Parang mga ganito. So, yung accession number nung tissue na ginawa natin kanina, yun yung isusulat dito, no? And even sa filter paper. And yung filter paper, ilalagay doon sa loob ng cassette. So, we already have a label inside and even outside the cassette. Meron tayong at least two identification per specimen. And then after that, the tissues, the cassettes are now ready to be placed in the basket and to be immersed in a fixative. So again, class, tissue processing, I have mentioned this before. Tissue processing can be automated or manual. Um, Kapag manual class, mano-mano, no? So, meron tayong different containers dyan or jars. And then, for example, for this jar or for this container, fixative, pwedeng formalin, di ba? Or formaldehyde. Um, And then, next na container natin is a dehydrating agent or alcohol. And ang dehydration kasi class, different, no? Na grading or different grades of alcohol. So, 70% and then this one 80% and then next 90% alcohol. And then after dehydration, clearing. So, xylene. Yan. Kapag manual tissue processing class, mano-mano kang maglilipat ng tissue cassettes mo, ng tissues mo. So, if these are your tissue cassettes, after 1 hour dito, yan, lilipat mo next dito sa 70% alcohol. And then, hindi lang basta naka-stand yan, no, class? You are also agitating that because agitation helps, no, class, helps in penetrating the solution dun sa kasulok-sulukan hanggang sa kasulok-sulukang structure ng tissues natin. So, pag manual tissue processing, mano-mano kang nag-shake ng mga or nag-agitate ng mga jars mo. So, mano-mano din yung paglipat. So, after dyan, lipat na naman after 1 hour. And then, lipat na naman after 1 hour or ilang minutes. Yan, or ilang hours. So, this one class, we have tried this one, manual tissue processing, nung intern pa lang ako. And, good thing is, by group naman siya. So, ang ginawa namin nun, nag-overnight kami sa bahay ng isang kaklase namin. And then, hinati namin siya, no? So, for the first hour, ikaw ang mag-agitate for the first step, yung fixation. Ayan. And then, after that, si ano naman, si person B naman sa dehydration sa 70%. Ganon. Tas, and then, so on. So, pinaghati-hatian namin yon, no? So, overnight yan na process. So, napakahirap, no? Kapag manual tissue processing, very time consuming and hindi rin siya efficient. Very um, tiring siya, no? Tiresome siya doon sa mga gagawa. That's why, hindi na 'to masyadong, common sa mga laboratories. Meron na tayong ATP. Ano ang ATP class? That is your automatic tissue processor. Ito yun class, no? Yung drinowing nyo sa inyong mga laboratory manuals. Ayan. So, here class, per container dyan, nakikita nyo ba yung mga lalagyan na yan? Per container is or contains a different solution each. So, pwedeng dito, fixative, and then next, alcohol. Yan. So, again, if dehydration, i-explain ko to later on, no, different grades of alcohol ascending. I-mention ko yan later on. So, alcohol, and then clearing agent or xylene, and then paraffin wax for impregnation, mga ganyan. So, dito class sa automatic tissue processor, um, sarili niya na, no? Automatic na yan na nag-a-agitate sa sarili niya. So, it saves us some time and effort. And also, after, meron na ding ipoprogram mo na rin dito kung ilang hours per batch, ilang hours per station or per container. So, after 1 hour here, automatic na rin siya class na lilipat, no, sa next na station. So, buti na lang, no, thankfully, meron na tayong ATP or automatic tissue processor, which um, um, performs the process FDCI. Hanggang infiltration lang class because again, embedding is done manually. Where were we? Yan. So, kung mapapansin nyo dito, class, no? Sa fixation, may nakalagay second. Because, class, again, the first fixation was yung pag-fix nung mismong staff sa OR or surgery room nung mismong organ pagka alis dun sa body. Diba? From the previous video, nabanggit ko na yung mga organs na yan, yung mga tissues na yan, they will arrive in the laboratory already in a fixative, no, preserved na yan. So that is the first fixation process. And then here, yung pag-fix ulit dito sa ating tissue processing, second na yan actually, technically speaking, no, second fixation niya na yan. And also, I will send videos nitong mga ito para mas visualize nyo class, no, kung paano nga ba talaga ito nangyayari, yung automatic tissue processing and even the manual tissue processing. So, mahirap kasing ituro ang histopath class, no, kapag hindi mo naipapakita yung mismong procedure or mismong process. Kasi mas maganda sana siya kapag nakikita mo mismo kung paano siya nangyayari. So, here sa manual tissue processing, kawawa naman, no? Kamusta kaya yung wrist nung mga nag-a-agitate? Yan. So, may ipapakita akong mga videos ng mga ito. And also, para mas maintindihan natin paano nangyayari itong automatic or automated tissue processing, meron akong table for this one. Let me just go to the picture. And class. So, here we have an example, no, nung mismong um, tissue processing na automated. And again, ATP, that machine automatically fixes, dehydrates, clears and even infiltrates tissues. And kadalasan, meron tayo dyang 12 stations, no? 12 stations or 12 individual processing steps. So, meron tayong example dito. Tignan natin, no? So, for the first station, meron siyang 10% neutral buffered formalin or 10% NBF. Yan. So, formalin class, that is just the same with formaldehyde. However, kapag 10% neutral buffered formalin, that is the solution form, no? Kapag formaldehyde kasi, that is the concentrated form, no? Usually, this is 37 to 40%. Yan, concentrated form. Yan, formaldehyde. Kapag formalin, solution na siya. Kaya nga siya tinawag na neutral buffered, no? Buffered na siya na solution. Neutral buffered formalin. And this one is the most commonly used type of fixative in the histopath lab. 10% NBF. So, first station, fixation. So, around 1 hour yan, no? And then, the next 6 stations, we have the process of dehydration. Again, class, pag sinabi nating dehydration, wag malilito ha, dehydration yung term, but this is, or this refers to ascending grades of alcohol, no, pataas, ascending grades of alcohol. So, for example, from 70% to 80% to 95% to 100% or absolute. Absolute or 100%. So, ascending grades of alcohol. Pag sinabi nating dehydration. Opposite to that, pag sinabi naman nating hydration or rehydration, that pertains naman class sa descending, no? Pababa naman. So, from 100 or absolute to 95 to 80 to 70. Parang ganun siya, class, no? So, wag malilito ha. Pag dehydration, ascending. Kapag hydration or rehydration, descending. No? Very important. So, 70, 80, 95, 95, 100, 100, tigwa 1 hour each. Yan. So, that is for dehydration. And then, station number 8, we have clearing, no? Silene. So, yung mga examples natin dito, class, ang pinili na lang na ilagay for this example ay yung mga commonly used, no? So, formalin, alcohol, ganyan. Silene. But actually, pag-uusapan natin later on or sa mga next na topics natin, yung other examples ng mga fixatives, hindi lang formalin, no? Sa dehydrating agents naman, hindi lang alcohol. Sa clearing agents naman, hindi lang silene, no? Marami yan. So, dito class, ang ginamit lang ay yung mga pinaka-common. So, for clearing, meron tayong 3 changes, no? So, tig 1 hour din per change of silene. And then, after that, last two stations, we have infiltration using paraffin wax. Yan. And sa infiltration class, very important that the last two baths or last two stations, which is for infiltration, it is controlled thermostatically. So, meron tayong thermostat dyan, no? Meron tayong temperature control device, which maintains the temperature here. The wax bath thermostat should always be at least 2 to 3 degrees above the melting point of the wax. So, the wax bath thermostat should be at least 3 or 2 to 3 degrees above the melting point of the wax. Ayan. So, In total, kung bibilangin natin lahat nito, itong hours, so around 12 hours yan. So overnight. Yan. Kaya nga class, kapag na-assign kayo sa histopath section, kunwari interns na kayo and then you are assigned in the histopath lab, yung mga kasama nyo na interns na na-assign sa ibang section, busy ang mga yan, no? Nag-rounds yung mga yan, may extraction maya-maya, kaya nagpa-process yung mga yan. Pero kayo na nasa histopath lab, anong gagawin nyo kapag graveyard shift? Tapos sa histopath lab kayo, matutulog lang kayo, no? Especially kapag meron namang ATP. Because you will just let the machine do its job, 'di ba? So 12 hours 'yan overnight na wala kayong gagawin. Mag-aantay lang kayong matapos yung buong process na ito. Class tissue processing, that is the longest phase um, when it comes to the examination of tissues. Ayan. So, sleep-sleep lang kayo dyan kapag na-assign kayo sa histopath lab tapos graveyard shift, di ba? Pero pagdating ng mga 4 AM, mga ganyan, or 3:30 AM, magi-start na kayong mag-embed niyan, no? Magma-manual embedding na kayo diyan. And meron din tayo dito class below, we have rapid tissue processing. This one class, automated din siya. However, this is usually done sa mga small biopsies natin. So, rapid tinawag siyang rapid tissue processing. Rapid because kung titignan natin yung mga duration nila, tigta 10 minutes lang, no? Ilang minutes lang. So, around 2 hours lang yung buong procedure na yan. Again, this is usually done for small biopsies. Although it still follows yung FDCIE natin. However, sabi niya dito, silin-free. It somewhat skips one step or one process, and that is clearing, no? Silin free. Kasi class, merong mga solutions just like isopropyl alcohol or IPA, two-in-one na siya, no? It acts both as a dehydrating agent and clearant as well. So, na-eliminate na natin yung isang process which is clearing kasi yung IPA or isopropyl alcohol, it dehydrates tissues and at the same time, it also acts as a clearing agent. So, medyo nabawasan na yung process natin. And also, rapid tissue processing, um, it uses heat and pressure. Kaya nga meron tayo diyang um, table for or column for temperature and vacuum. And class, oh, ayan. So that is in the case of rapid tissue processing. Yung mga small biopsies na to, they take advantage of heat and vacuum. So let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so last, I have to mention this as well. Um, there are two main types of tissue processing or automatic tissue processing class. Ano yung mga yon? One is, so here ha, two main types of automated tissue processors. We have tissue transfer or also known as, tinatawag din siyang dip and dunk. Yan, dip and dunk type of processor. Ito class, ang tissue transfer, it is described as, or this is a type of ATP wherein the specimens are transferred from container to container. So again, the cassettes are transferred or are moved from one container to another container. Ibig sabihin, yung cassettes ang gumagalaw, ang lumilipat, no? Kaya siya tinawag na tissue transfer or dip and dunk. So the cassettes or the tissues are the ones that move yan, from one container to another. Yung pangalawa naman class is called fluid transfer. Yan, fluid transfer naman class kasi yung fluid naman yung gumagalaw. It is the fluids that move. So ito naman class sinatawag din siyang enclosed. An enclosed type of automatic tissue processor. And here, the specimens are held in a single process chamber and the fluids are pumped in and out. Yan. So, yung fluids ang gumagalaw. So, tissue transfer, yung tissue or yung cassette mismo ang lumilipat from one container to another. Pag fluid transfer, yung fluid naman ang nagpa-pump in and out as required. So, I think that is the end of it. Let me just check. Ayan. So, that is all. Let me just check class. Baka may nakalimutan na akong banggitin. Right, so I think that is it for this video. Additional assignment class. Kindly accomplish exercise number 4 in your laboratory manual. So, exercise number 4, receiving of a specimen for tissue processing. So, kung ako sa inyo class, if may mga time or may mga days na hindi kayo busy, mag-advance na kayo 'no, sagutan niyo na yung mga ibang mga activities sa inyong mga lab manuals and even in your modules because papasagutan ko rin lang naman yung mga 'yan. So, kung may mga time na wala kayong ginagawa, so puwede niyo na kayong mag-advance 'no, sagutan niyo na sila para at least hindi kayo natatabunan ng mga assignments. Kasi papasagutan ko lang din naman siya in the future. So, ayun lang class. Um, for the last recorded lecture, before we go back to face-to-face meetings, we will talk about still tissue processing there. But ano na siya, mas specific na siya, no? Pag-uusapan na natin yung per step. So, ano bang nangyayari? Ano bang meron sa bawat step? Yan. So, goodbye everyone. Stay alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic.